Hey everyone, how are you doing? You have Mike and Sierra here, and today we're going to do a video on the hybrid debate. So this one's going to be a little bit different. We would like you guys to really partake in the comments, because that's the only way to really have a friendly debate is to talk about it. So let's talk about it in the comments, but what we're going to do is give you all the tools that you need to know first in order to do that. So to start off with, what is a hybrid, Sierra?
Well, hybrids are going to be a fish that's bred from two or more different species of fish. Some of them occur accidentally or naturally in your aquarium with two different species interbreeding. Others are clearly man-made, and there's a variety of different positions people have on them. Some are more widely accepted, while some are a lot more frowned upon.
Yeah. So in the African cichlid world, you will see dragon bloods and obi peacocks. These here fish are now becoming more and more popular within the hobby. You also have your man-made fish, which you'll see your blood parrots, your flowerhorns. Like I said, these are man-made fish, and they're really starting to pick up in momentum. And they're widely available at pretty much everywhere.
So, what's the issue? Well, hybrids are beautiful fish, but in this part of the hobby, there are some irresponsible fish keepers out there, just like there are irresponsible fish keepers in every other part of the hobby. A lot of hybrids are selectively bred, so basically that means that they're going to be bred for different generations, selecting fish for certain traits. Generally, responsible breeders can have pretty high cull rates at times. So in a given batch, you may only have, a handful of keepable fish that they'll take and breed into a high quality strain. Now, it normally takes time for this to happen, but this is how the selective breeding process actually goes and works.
Yeah. So many man-made fish, like flowerhorns and blood parrots, the exact parentage is really greatly debated. Not too many people actually know about these. These are all done overseas, and if you kind of think about it like this, the people who make these fish aren't going to give up the recipe that's making them millions of dollars a year, right? It's not going to happen, and that's why we don't know the exact parentage of these fish. But some of the other problems are if you have two species of fish that are very closely resembled, and they make fry, then you might have fish that take very close parent traits, and you can't tell the difference if they're a true pure fish or not. And this is part of the problem, either getting missold or mislabeled when they're sold. And like I said, this is part of the issue.
Yeah, so irresponsible or unknowing individuals then pass around or sell these fish, either not being aware or being fully aware. And it ends up creating issues where you're going to start to see dilution within the hobby of the natural species. Basically, if you don't know you have a hybrid and it ends up breeding with your pure fish, at that point, the fry, all of a sudden the gene pool keeps getting diluted every time that this happens. Now, it's when you are breeding and stuff like that, it is your responsibility to be honest with anything that comes out of your tank and make sure that if you are selling a hybrid, you are making that very well clear and being very upfront about this.
So, as an example, the trimac is a great fish because people believe the flowerhorn is has direct traits from the trimac. Now, as you know, the trimac is one of these fish that the lines have been bloodied up so much that it's very hard to find a pure trimac out there. And that's kind of disappointing to a lot of fish keepers. And this has kind of led up to now that there's two separate groups of people, the hybrid lovers and the purists. And the purists really are not happy with us because they can no longer get fish and they want to ensure that these fish are going to be around for quite some time.
Yeah, with some of these fish, low quality flower horns look very, very similar to the trimac. And in some cases where maybe one is more in demand than the other, some individuals are tempted to sell their hybrid as a pure fish, either because they're more widely accepted or in cases where they're able to make more money from it, which really that's not a responsible way about it, but it does happen quite often.
Yeah.
So the practices and lack of responsibility of some of these keepers has really led to an overall negative view on hybrids as generally as a whole. It's pretty unfortunate that this is happening, and a lot are being discriminated based on the fish that they're keeping. They're not judging how they're actually caring for their fish or their knowledge or anything like that. It's pure just discrimination or bad thoughts put out there just because they own mixed up fish.
Yeah. And some fish keepers, we're going to call them the purists in this case, they really take it a little bit too far, and will come out and directly and tell you to kill your fish, or even to kill yourself. We've come across this very often, and it's kind of disturbing, and there's really no need for it. We should be supporting one another and helping each other out. And just one thing I could say is if some guy's telling me to kill myself, I'm probably not going to listen to him or take him very serious. And I think that's definitely a big issue that needs to be addressed. And by educating people goes a lot further than just telling people to kill their fish and something like that. It's just not appropriate at all.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a lot better to spread education on it and to approach people in a friendly way than it is to belittle or attack them or insult them or their aquarium or their fish that they happen to love. At that point, no one's going to listen to you. The messages of responsibility that you are trying to pass along are just not being heard.
So, as a community of fish keepers, we really need to sometimes agree to disagree, and really try to work to help educate people instead of just putting people down. I guess would be a proper way of saying it, right? You got to remember that this hobby here is one of the most unique hobbies, as in it takes in people from a lot of different, or that are in a lot of different places. Some people may be suffering from some sort of stress or post-traumatic stress disorder. Some people may just be, just suffering from all kinds of different mental illnesses. And this is one of these hobbies that really takes in a lot of these people, and it gives them a little bit of hope and makes them feel a little bit better about themselves. And having a brand new fish keeper that comes into the hobby that has a hybrid, to be told to kill their fish totally could ruin it for them. And we don't want to take that experience away from anybody. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no. As someone that's personally touched with mental illness, it is a sensitive subject, and it's better to approach people with kindness and respect and be able to talk to them like adults. Really, we are all adults here, and we should be able to have conversations back and forth without using personal attacks and insults. For some people, they take it to heart, and that really upsets them. It ruins their day, it ruins their experience, which it's not fair for one single person or one group to be able to do that just because of the fish they're keeping. It's really not unimportant, it's really not important the fish that you're keeping. It's all about how you're keeping those fish that really matters at the end of the day.
Exactly. So I really hope that we were able to give you some information about this here today, and maybe you understand a little bit more from both sides. And like I said, we really want to hear some discussions in the comments below. And
yeah, we really do. We really do enjoy hearing both sides and getting information from both perspectives. We like to stay open-minded, but we want everyone to stay respectful. We don't want anyone to belittle or attack anyone other personally. If you don't like our fish, there are many subscribers we have that personally just don't like our fish, which
we're okay with that.
That's fine. That's fine. They've always been more than respectful, and we applaud them. So they're the ones that are really doing it right. We would need to be able to have conversations, whether or not we agree with what species someone has in their tank.
Exactly. So, again, guys, thank you very much for watching. We really hope that you enjoyed this video, and you guys have yourself a great day.